Hi, Buddy. Toolbox Talk. Fall protection systems using harnesses and guardrails. Objective: to ensure all workers understand the importance of fall protection systems, how to properly use harnesses and guardrails, and the steps to stay safe when working at heights, including specific requirements for scissor lifts and boom lifts. 1. Why fall protection matters. Falls are one of the leading causes of injuries and fatalities in construction and other industries. OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, requires fall protection for anyone working at heights of 6 feet or more in construction, 4 feet in general industry. Using proper fall protection systems like harnesses and guardrails can save lives and prevent serious injuries, especially when working in equipment like scissor lifts or boom lifts. 2. Understanding fall protection systems. Fall protection systems are designed to prevent or stop a fall. Two common systems are personal fall arrest systems, harnesses. These stop a worker from hitting the ground if they fall. Guardrails. These act as a barrier to prevent workers from falling off edges. Special note for aerial lifts. When working in a scissor lift or boom lift, fall protection is required if you're reaching up and out over the confines of the lift's platform, the box. This ensures you're protected if you lose your balance while overreaching. 3. Using harnesses properly. A personal fall arrest system typically includes a harness, lanyard, and anchor point. Here's how to use it safely, including in aerial lifts. Inspect before use. Check your harness for tears, frayed straps, or damaged buckles. Ensure the lanyard and anchor point are in good condition. If anything looks worn or damaged, do not use it. Report it to your supervisor. Wear it correctly. Put on the harness and adjust all straps so it fits snugly. The D-ring, the attachment point on your back, should sit between your shoulder blades. Double-check that all buckles are secure. Anchor points. Attach your lanyard to an anchor point that can support at least 5,000 pounds per worker, or as specified by your site's safety plan. In a scissor lift or boom lift, always anchor to the designated attachment point provided by the manufacturer. Never anchor to an external structure unless explicitly approved. Ensure the anchor is above your head to minimize swing falls. Special requirement for scissor lifts and boom lifts. When working in a scissor lift or boom lift, you must wear a harness and be tied off at all times if you're reaching up and out over the confines of the lift's platform. The guardrails on the lift are not enough to protect you if you overreach. Your center of gravity can shift, and you could fall out of the lift. Use a short lanyard to limit movement and prevent ejection from the lift. Limit free fall distance. Your lanyard should keep your free fall to 6 feet or less, though in a lift, the goal is to prevent any fall outside the platform. Use a shock-absorbing lanyard to reduce the force on your body if you fall. Rescue plan. Always have a rescue plan in place. If someone falls and is suspended in a harness, they need to be rescued quickly to avoid suspension trauma, which can occur within 15 to 30 minutes. This is especially critical in aerial lifts, where a fall could leave a worker suspended in an awkward position. Crack 4. Using guardrails effectively. Guardrails are a passive fall protection system, meaning they don't require active use by the worker. They're always in place. Here's what to know. Components of a guardrail system. Top rail should be 42 inches, plus or minus 3 inches, above the working surface. Mid-rail should be halfway between the top rail and the surface, around 21 inches. Toe board A small barrier at the base to prevent tools or materials from falling off the edge. Guardrails in aerial lifts. Scissor lifts and boom lifts come equipped with guardrails, but these are not sufficient on their own if you're reaching up and out over the platform's edge. Always combine guardrails with a harness and lanyard in these situations to ensure full protection. Strength requirements. The top rail must withstand 200 pounds of force in any direction. The mid-rail must withstand 150 pounds of force. Inspection and maintenance. Check guardrails daily for damage, loose connections, or missing parts on both fixed structures and aerial lifts. Ensure there are no gaps larger than 19 inches where a worker could fall through. If a guardrail is damaged, report it immediately and do not work in that area until it's fixed. Don't lean on guardrails. Guardrails are not designed to support your weight if you lean on them. Use them as a barrier, not a support. Q5. General safety tips for working at heights. Plan ahead. Before starting work, identify all fall hazards and ensure proper fall protection is in place, especially when using scissor lifts or boom lifts. Use the right equipment. Never use a harness or guardrail that isn't rated for your specific task. Ensure your harness and lanyard are appropriate for aerial lift use. Stay trained. Ensure you've been trained on how to use fall protection systems properly, including specific training for operating scissor lifts and boom lifts. Housekeeping. Keep work areas clear of debris, tools, or materials that could cause a trip hazard near edges, including on-lift platforms. Communicate. If you see a fall hazard or damaged equipment, speak up immediately. Q6. Discussion questions. Has anyone ever had a close call with a fall while working in a scissor lift or boom lift? What happened, and what could have been done to prevent it? Are there any areas on this site where you feel the fall protection systems need improvement, especially for aerial lifts? Do you feel confident in inspecting and using your harness in a lift? If not, let's go over it together. Seven. Key takeaway. Fall protection systems like harnesses and guardrails are your lifeline when working at heights, including in scissor lifts and boom lifts. When reaching up and out over the confines of a lift's platform, you must wear a harness and be tied off to the designated anchor point. Inspect your equipment, use it properly, and never take shortcuts. Your safety and the safety of your coworkers depends on it. Closing. Does anyone have any questions about harnesses, guardrails, or fall protection in general, especially when using scissor lifts or boom lifts? Let's make sure we're all on the same page before we get to work.